welcome to another fresh episode of Corner Office. I'm Ryan Malyar. I'm the executive director here at WMCT-TV, and I'm so excited that we are rebooting this show right here in the studio in the heart of Marlborough. I'm joined today with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. Mayor, how are you?
Fantastic.
I love to hear that.
Oh.
Now, just a few weeks back, you spoke in front of City Council and delivered your annual State of the City address, and that list was just so tremendous of all the accomplishments and projects that we both thought that it deserved a little sit down so we could discuss it in a little bit more detail, right?
No, it's one of those things, you either have an inauguration address after you're inaugurated, or I've tried to do the State of the City in between, because working with those guys down at the City Council, we've got a ton done, so it's just great to be able to share it with them.
Now, there are so many projects, we're not going to get through all of them today, that we could probably do 5 episodes just diving into all these awesome accomplishments. But one of my favorite things that you mentioned was the 26.2-mile Panther Trail has been completed. So what went into making this project a success?
Well, obviously the dedication of Priscilla Ryder and the Conservation Commission, a lot of volunteers, a lot of the Boy Scouts use it for Eagles Scout.
For their big project,
big project. We've had other volunteers, but I mean, it's really, some of the discussion started with Attorney Arthur Vigeant, that was doing the Appalachian Trail at the time, I think, with his son, and it got his daughter involved in doing this Panther Trail around the city, so you could do a marathon route in the city without leaving. So we got a couple bits and pieces we still have to tweak, but it's a fantastic project, and it's been a long time coming, but like I said, with their dedication, we've been able to get it finished up.
And how does a trail like this benefit the residents of the city? I know some of the track teams are using it already.
Yeah, Amster and the high school have used it, but it's kind of funny. I go out to visit a lot of companies. I'm probably over 300 in the last 11 years, but we thought when I was going with MEDC and Meredith, Tim before her, that we were going to hear about real estate taxes and water bills and things like that. And all they wanted to talk about is, what is the city doing for amenities for our employees?
Sure.
And one of the things they brought up were walking trails. So we've really tried to expand on that. We've done some bike lanes in the different streets in the city. We've tried to bring in amenities for them after work with things like the Apex Center.
Right.
So it's keeping the employees engaged, so they want to go down and work at Boston Scientific or Quest or Cytiva or
Well, even right here in the middle of Marlborough, we're only a quick walk. Mike and I go up to the rail trail. It's just a little walk, and if we can get in a nice little walk during our lunch break, it's awesome.
No, it's fantastic, and we're hoping someday that those some of those towns to the north of us decide to move forward on their project so we can have it go even farther. Right now, we go through Hudson, and it's a great walking path, but if you're on there with a bike, it's kind of short.
Sure.
So it'd be great if they start connecting those others so we can go all the way to Boston with it.
Right. Let's switch gears a little bit. It's winter now, and usually we're using a lot more electricity. We're talking space heaters, electric blankets, even Christmas lights. But the city's making great strides in both energy efficiency and electric savings for residents. And I can quote you from your speech. You said average homeowner is going to save $147 a month, and overall you're looking at a total savings for all residents on this program that's close to $10 million.
Yeah, so
how does that happen?
Well, we've done a bunch of things in the city. You know, we've done things for the city itself, where we put 4 solar arrays on 4 of our schools. We've changed all the lights throughout the city on the street lights to get them more energy efficient. We put other programs in within the buildings. But this is a municipal aggregation program that we got in quite a few years ago, probably 12, 14 years ago. And usually there's a benefit. There was a small slump where we really went upside down for a few months, but it came right back, and we ended up making that up. But recently, we're locked into a longer-term contract that actually ends in January, a year from now. But we're paying just over 9 cents. I'm going to throw this out, I think, kilowatt. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But National Grid right now is, I believe, 34 cents.
Wow.
So it's about a third of what they're paying through National Grid. And obviously with a lot of help from Mike Ossing, that was in the energy business, working for Seabrook for so many years. He has great knowledge of this, and using his expertise in the committee, the Municipal Aggregation Committee, we decided to jump in at the right time, got that 9-cent contract for, I believe it was 3 years, but 4 years, but it ends a year from now. So we're keeping our eyes open, and we're hoping we can lock into something else, and depending on how the winter goes.
Is it a renegotiation process?
Yes, so you go out to bid when the time comes. So Colonial Power, who was our consultant really, is the one that puts together the bids, gives us 3 or 4 different options.
I see.
This one is 100% energy efficient. It's saving people a lot of money. It's all green energy, which usually costs a lot more. And in this case, we're 100% green, and it's still saving us a boatload of money. But citywide, we're looking at $10 million for our residents this winter.
That's a tremendous benefit to the community. Now, a lot of residents don't totally understand that when tax rates go down, they think that their taxes are going to be less than their prior year.
Yeah.
But that isn't always the case. And home values went up 18%, so the tax rate went up that year. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so they figured, the way taxes are figured, first of all, the assessors go out and look at the values of the entire city. And
so we're looking at the home values and the land and
right
the land
now,
value.
it's just total value of the property,
Sure.
and they go across. And that's so we're fair to everyone in the city when we set our tax rate. So they do a valuation throughout the city of both commercial and residential property. Then we figure, okay, what do we need to run the city in the next 12 months? This is how much we have to raise on our real estate taxes. So we back into a tax rate based on all that. There's a lot of calculations that get involved. Our tax rate actually went down about over $1 this year, just under $12 or just over $11, down from just over 13. But because values went up 20%, so you multiply this factor times the new value, and that's where you get the real estate tax increase. But we've only seen a real estate tax increase of $199 this year. One of our neighboring communities was over $4,300 just for the new taxes, just for the increase for the year.
I'm not even going to go into my taxes. We'll have another conversation.
Yep. No,
but
it was
like
more
you
than
said,
$199.
135% increase.
Yeah. Well, I'll
not in Marlborough.
I wouldn't last too long if that happened here in the city.
No.
But we, working with Mike and John Irish and the entire city council, we've worked really hard over many years to keep our residential tax, so we see consistent increases every year, rather than see those big spikes and then nothing the next year and then another big spike. If you look at our increases, it's been fairly small and fairly consistent, so people can plan on it a little bit.
Right. Let's talk about the Main Street and Weed Street project. Now, it's interesting, I'm still pretty new to Marlborough, and I heard that maybe a few years back there used to be some fun concerts and stuff that happened on Weed Street on the back side of City Hall, and I know part of the revitalization and hope is that we might be able to have more events and do things on Weed Street. What are your plans there?
Well, there was discussion about doing the entire street over, all the sidewalks and everything. I went through that in the mid-'90s or later '90s, and I wasn't looking forward to do that again. So we are going to do, we're putting in the gas lines now and water lines and sewer lines, so Main Street's going to be beat up a little bit over the next year, but we're going to be doing the front area of Main Street in front of City Hall and everything in back on Weed Street to make it more walkable and safe for residents to come down.
So we're updating the lighting too back there?
The lighting's going to be done. When it's all done, we're going to do an overlay on Main Street. We'll only replace sidewalk areas that need some work. So it's going to be some bumps in the road over the next 12 months, but Weed Street, we just need to make more accessible, and we're going to make a lot of changes back there based on the plans that were presented to me. So looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, there's already some construction happening right now, but the communication has been pretty good overall, and the way traffic has been moved around different areas, it hasn't been a problem so far.
No, if the police just keep moving the traffic along, which is great.
Right. And let's talk about another project, the Lincoln and Mechanic Street project. So that used to be an old train depot, am I right?
Yeah, no, it was, I think it was the early 80s or late 70s where the train depot actually came down.
Okay.
And one of our local residents laid herself in front of the bulldozer because she wasn't going to let it happen.
Because she thought it was a historic
and
building?
It was. It was. There's no question about it. And it's too bad that it came down back then, but it did. And it's changed hands a couple times. And I think every administration I've ever worked in since I was on the city council has tried to secure that property. So we did the same thing, and we were successful. And we did it more, we bought that corner lot more to control what was going to be built there.
Sure.
We didn't need another convenience store or gas station. No. And that's what was put on the table. There were people calling us, hey, I'm buying that to put a gas station there, can I get a permit? It's like, no.
So you took it off the table?
So we took it off the table. The city council supported me in the request to have the MEDC buy it, not with the intent to make a lot of money, but to control what was being built there.
Sure.
And what we envisioned is exactly what's going there. A mixed-use project with some retail on the first floor, apartments and the rest of it, and we're going to get that corner lot in exchange where the rail trail is for parking. We're going to have bathroom facilities there. It's going to be great. It really is. We're so excited, but that's been 40 years in the works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another really exciting collaboration that the city has, which I don't know of any other communities, is with Phantom Gourmet, which is a show I've been watching for years, and it's great. If you tune in, you see a really great promotional video that plays in every episode, maybe even a few times, highlighting all the wonderful things in Marlborough. And because of maybe some of that publicity, we've been able to bring in some more funds for our restaurants and hotels and entertainment. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we entered this contract with Phantom probably 3-4 years ago through the MEDC, and we are the only community that has that contract with them. And they're great because they get out there and promote our restaurants, they promote the city, and that was the whole goal. How do we make this just not a restaurant thing, but a city thing?
Right.
We need to promote the entire city. So with their efforts, they're down here all the time with their videos that they do, as well as premiere shows. And we've seen the last 2 quarters of our meals tax the highest we've ever seen in the city. So obviously it's come back in the restaurants. They're doing great out there. We have a couple great opportunities for a couple new restaurants coming in. So we're trying to find the right ones to fit in the spots that we have available, and really excited. But Phantom and the Edelmans do a great job for us. They've been down here quite a few times, and anytime we call them with anything, they show up. But I even have restaurants in the city that don't want them in because they can't handle the additional traffic.
Wow, that's a good problem to have.
Exactly, and that's the great thing about it. But all that additional meals tax that comes in, Marlborough uses for just its recreation and parks and fields for the kids.
Okay, and how about the hotels tax? What does that go to fund?
So last quarter was the highest quarter we've ever had for the hotels tax. Even prior to...
Was there a convention or something?
No,
what brought everyone
it's
here?
just starting to come back. This year we're expecting to be back to normal down at the skating rink, but the businesses are back. The hotels are busy, which is great.
It's wonderful.
And that money that we take in as the local option tax is 75 cents on a $100 charge from the hotel. So if you get a room for $100, we get 75 cents of that goes toward economic development in the city.
Wow.
So
tremendous.
those 2 accounts were set up years ago, and it's dedicated money just for parks and recreation facilities, and the other one for economic development.
I'd like to switch gears a little bit and ask you, we have a new library director, we have a new HR director. What's their focus going to be? The new library is going to be tremendous, and I believe she's a Marlborough resident,
She's a Marlborough resident.
You love that.
Sarah's going to be great. I'm looking forward to working with her. I'm meeting with her shortly after this, but for the first time, or the second time. But
I look forward to getting her in here and seeing what her plans are. I'm sure she's brainstorming.
She's young. She's got a lot of great ideas, and we're looking forward to working with her to get that new library opened up in the next few months. So,
wonderful.
We're really excited. John Harmon took over at HR director a few months ago, so he's getting up to speed. And then Chad Carter, who's been up to CDA, actually started as a college intern with us.
Real success story there.
Unbelievable. And he's been with us since the beginning, and he does a great job up at the CDA in housing. So
it's never too early to plug the intern program. Can you shed a little light on that?
We have two different programs. We have a high school intern program that's run by, we get the grants and everything. It's basically through Mass Hire, but we hire a lot of summer interns for high school kids. And then we have a college program that we try to put as many college students to work as we can. Funding's never been an issue. The council always comes through with whatever funding we need for the program, but that's really administered through my office, and Trish and Candace take care of that. But it's just, we've really had a lot of great interns over the years, and I just tell the department heads, I don't want you getting someone in there just to give them a job. If you have some of those things we haven't had time to do, that's what they're there for. Same thing with the senior tax write-off program. You know, we bring the seniors back, we give them credit on their real estate taxes. I just asked the council to up the amount we can give them.
Right.
So, because obviously there's been inflation, so we're raising that right now. But
what sort of work are the senior citizens doing in that program? Is it bookkeeping things?
It's whatever they have experience. We try to fit them where they've had careers and experience. So we've had some down at the senior center. We've had some as greeters in City Hall. We have them down at DPW in the engineering department.
Oh, tremendous.
So we use the skills that they have that, you know, maybe, you know, they don't want to keep working full time, but maybe, you know, getting their fingers dirty every once in a while isn't the worst thing.
It keeps you active, and if it helps offset your taxes, then even better. It's a win-win.
That's great.
Yeah. Now, we talked a lot about the accomplishments of the past year, but I was curious if there are any projects in the work that you're really hyped up about.
You know, getting these things finished is going to be great. You know, the library and the wood partners over at Lincoln and Mechanic Street. But we got a deck hockey facility that's, the walls are up.
Okay.
So we're getting that finished up. So that'll be open this summer for down at Colony Park. So we'll have our first deck hockey facility. I'm excited about getting the boardwalk around Lake William.
That's
something I talked about,
cool.
you know, 11 years ago and was told we couldn't do it. DEP kind of has a change in view on those with some different people, and so it looks like we're moving forward, and we're going to be going out to bid shortly. But that, we ended up with, when I wanted to do it before, we ended up with the trail on the land side,
right?
But it kind of deadheads. So
you reach a point and you can't go any further.
We can't go any farther, turn around and come back home. But this will go all the way around the lake, and we're really excited about that. It's just, its time has come.
Yeah.
You know? It's one of those things that many have talked about.
Well, it's going to make a lake that you drive by in your car when you're hopping on the highway, and you say, oh, that's pretty, but now it's suddenly accessible and usable, and you get to enjoy that beauty in a prolonged walk.
Really looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting.
My final question for you is, with all of these things, do you have any tips for multitasking? I go in your office and I see folders and folders, and how do you manage all of these?
Well, first of all, I'm a paper guy, so that's a problem, and that's why I have little stacks all over. Anyone that's been up there, everyone has their little name on it, so I go through. But just having great people around you. You know, Trisha's been with me since the beginning, but good managers that, you know, if everyone's going in the same direction, the job's easy.
Right.
So.
Right. Awesome. Mayor, thank you for rebooting this program with me. I'm really excited.
Hey, welcome. This is your first one.
It's my first one.
It's fantastic. We'll do it again.
I hope so. Hope we can do it. We should do it at the beach one day.
We have done that.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
We'll do it again when the,
Yeah,
when the weather's
absolutely.
nicer. Wonderful. Well, you've been watching Corner Office on WMCT-TV with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. I'm Ryan Malyar, and I'll see you soon.